I'm the only Polish-born British Member of Parliament. We came here in 1978. I came here as a 6-year-old. I didn't leave Poland. I was taken out of Poland by my parents, but they were fiercely anti-communist, and they refused to live under a communist system. And I'm very privileged to have represented Shrewsbury for the last 18 years, Shrewsbury in Shropshire. But of course, for me, instinctively, being a British Member of Parliament of Polish origin, Anglo-Polish relations is something that's very close to my heart. I would like you to know that the all-party parliamentary group for Poland has today 97 members, making us either the third or the fourth largest in Parliament. And a lot of the praise and thanks to creating such a large group has to go to George Kawczynski. He doesn't like me praising him at public events, but he has been the administrator and the secretariat, provided the secretariat for the group for the last few years, and he has been instrumental in helping me to make the all-party parliamentary group the third largest in our parliament. So thank you very much, George. I'd also like to thank Sophie the Schwarzburg-Gunther, the young, stunningly attractive lady in the front here, who helped me to set up the Conservative Friends of Poland some 10 years ago. So we Poles who have moved to the United Kingdom, we are passionate in cementing and solidifying the relationship between Warsaw and London. Now, actually, when you think about it, Poland was occupied for 200 years, dismembered by the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, the German Empire, and the Russian Empire. All of our elites were killed, murdered. All of our elite institutions were destroyed, certainly during the Second World War. And then we had an economically illiterate and politically Orwellian political system imposed on us by Joseph Stalin. And yet, extraordinarily, Poland is on course to overtake the British economy and the French economy within the next 20 years. Now, Sir Keir Starmer, the leader of the opposition, ridicules that. He says, how on earth can this inconsequential Eastern European state be competing with us, the United Kingdom? I don't see it like that. I don't see it through the prism of Sir Keir Starmer. I see it, what is it that the Poles are doing differently to us that is allowing them to grow so much faster than we can grow our own economy? And I think the time has come for us to strengthen our bilateral relations with Poland, but also to start to learn from the Poles. What is it that they are doing in terms of taxation, regulations, social security payments, and all the rest of it, which is allowing them to grow so much faster than us? But in addition to the strength of the Polish economy, they are on course to become our continent's leading military power. So our relations with Poland are going to become increasingly more important. Now, Britain and Poland, as you know, are at the forefront of supporting Ukraine. And for those of us who campaigned for Brexit, which I did, what they said to us is that if you have the temerity to leave the European Union, you will be abandoning Europe. And you will be abandoning Poland. That's what some of my Polish friends said to me. And yet, actually, look at the reality of the situation. There's no other country in Europe that has helped Poland more in its determination to help its neighbour Ukraine. No country has done more than the United Kingdom. So being part of an artificial supranational state does not mean that you are going to be at the forefront of understanding the geopolitical circumstances of our continent and the security that binds us all together. And I'm very proud that despite us leaving the European Union, which is something I campaigned for, we have demonstrated in this war the interdependence that binds us all on our continent, and that the United Kingdom has reached out more than any other country to Poland to support our brothers and sisters in Ukraine. I've just completed a 2.5-year project in writing a book on emotional intelligence in politics, which some of you may think is an oxymoron. And we've interviewed 21 former secretaries of state cross-party to gain their understanding of emotional intelligence and how they have used emotional intelligence in their day-to-day lives to allow them to have had the extraordinary privileged position of being in the cabinet. But a key strand of emotional intelligence, when you study it, a word that runs through the whole concept of emotional intelligence, is interdependence. Interdependence. And it is our interdependence with Poland and with Ukraine which the United Kingdom understands better, I would argue, than any other European country, and we are determined to work with our Polish friends and allies to ensure that NATO continues to be ultimately the supreme defence capability on our continent, rather than the Europeans trying to implement an EU single army. That would be a disaster for our continent, and we need to keep NATO as the supreme defence posture, predicated and anchored in the power of the Americans, Canadians, Norwegians, Brits, Turks, and others who are not in the European Union. So I'll end by saying, those of you who are parliamentarians, if you haven't joined the all-party parliamentary group for Poland, please do so. And if you know of any members of parliament who have not yet joined our group, please reach out to them. We take 2 or 3 delegations every year to Warsaw, and we select up-and-coming members of parliament who have never been to Poland, so that we can take them together and we let them loose on not only do they have the official meetings at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and other ministries, but we let them loose on downtown Warsaw so that they can get to know and understand the Poles and their natural habitat. And finally, of course, having been a member of parliament for nearly 19 years, my mind now turns to the next generation. And we are very keen to ensure that young Polish or young Brits of Polish origin, and there are 900,000 Poles living in the United Kingdom, but we are now looking for young Brits of Polish origin who we want to mentor to get them onto the candidates list to stand for Parliament. The interdependence between Warsaw and London will become ever more clear and evident over the coming years and decades. And we would very much want you to play a part on binding our 2 countries together. So thank you, George, for organising this evening. It's a great pleasure to address your audience, and I wish you every success for the future. Thank you.